Tate. So we got Mark Tate, Ricky Stenhouse Sr., Ricky Stenhouse Sr. is here with us.
Okay. One, you said episode 41. All right, here we go. 3, 2, and welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 41 of Let's Go Racing with David Starr. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we are live from Texas Motor Speedway with reaction to Kyle Larson's win, his 7th of 2021, as he is in great shape and locking up a spot in the championship 4. We'll break that all down. Plus, this guy, David Starr, a career best finish today, 23rd. We'll talk about that. And of course, we will have our normal segments. We'll have our news and notes and our Ask David segment at the end of the show. Before we do that, a reminder as always, we're presented by Whataburger. Don't forget that every Whataburger is made fresh, served hot, prepared just like you like it. Want jalapenos and cheese on that? No problem. They've got you covered. Whataburger, proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. David Starr joins us right now. David, it is good to see you in the flesh.
Man, it's great to be here, and always fun to race at Texas Motor Speedway. We got a lot of friends, family, just great friends. You know, it's awesome. I love racing all across the country, but racing at your home track is very special. So many people have helped me over the years that some are in this room, you know, just fans that have been following you for years. People who used to drive their dirt cars. I mean, it's awesome, man. The atmosphere here at the Texas Motor Speedway and every week is magical, you know, but racing here at Texas is always special for me and my family, and it didn't disappoint this weekend. It was awesome race weekends.
Dominic Aragon of the RacingExperts.com is here as always. Don, how are we doing?
Oh, doing great. Good to see you guys in flesh again. Last time we did this was in this very room 4 months ago. So awesome to do these next 2 shows live and get the show on the road.
Yes, we're on the road this week and next week, as we'll be at Kansas Speedway next weekend after that race. And so we're doing these live shows back to back. So if you're listening to the audio version on a podcast, then you'll hear it a little bit different than the live show that we're doing right now on Facebook and YouTube. And a good time to remind you to like us and follow us on Facebook at David Starr Podcast. We're also on Twitter at Starr Podcast, and you can contact us by email, davidstarpodcast@gmail.com. And David, you mentioned, you know, so many friends, these home track races, always a big deal for you anytime you race at Texas Motor Speedway. And so much support, you know, whether it was sponsors, friends, family, whatever. Busy weekend for you, not only on the track, but off the track too.
Oh, man, no doubt about it. You know, you got sponsor commitments, and you know, our buddy Mark Tate, this is his condo we're in tonight. And man, Mark's such a gracious guy, takes care of our sponsors, lets them come to his condo. He entertains them. I mean, you got to stop by and see so many people. I told my wife last night, we got done racing the Xfinity race, and man, we're making our stops, and I had about 4 more stops to go, and I couldn't get to them because I was just wore out, but it's such a great sport. The people side of it, man, I live, eat, and sleep racing. I love everything about it, the competition. But the best part about it is the relationships. You develop these relationships with people, sponsors and fans, and they become family. And sometimes it's hard to get to everybody in a weekend. There's so many hours in a day. You're racing all day long, and you get done. Everybody wants to see you, trying to get by and see everybody, and just to spend some time with them. But man, you're just so thankful that people like you like that. They support you. They're fans of yours. But without people like Whataburger and Connectus, Kyocera, T-Top Manufacturer, there's just on and on and on. So many companies and so many people. They really don't ask much of your time, but they want you to come by and say hello to them. And sometimes that's a challenge. You know what I mean? But man, it's if we don't have sponsors in this industry, I don't care what driver you are, what team you are. It's all about having great partnerships and good partnerships where you can race like you need to race to be competitive. And man, I'm just blessed. You guys know, we got about 85 partners. We got a lot of them.
Yeah.
And just so thankful for every one of them. And man, it's always special to be able to spend time with all of them, and new ones that like connect us. Man, it was their first race, their first adventure into NASCAR today. And they brought so many customers and employees. They had such a ball. And I feel like that myself and my racing team and Courtney, my assistant, and just everybody involved, I feel like that they had such a great time that they're going to be back and do more races with us. That's what it's all about. Without companies, without people helping our racing teams and helping us, you can't race, not at this level, so it's awesome, and thank God for all these people I'm talking about, because man, it's a blessing,
Pre-racing on the grid yesterday and today, it just looked like you were having so much fun connecting with all the fans and all your partners sitting there on pit road before the race started.
Man, when you got jobs like we got, I mean, here it is Sunday night. I don't know what time it is, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, hell.
8:45.
8:45. Whatever time it is. I mean, the real world, people got to go to bed and get up and go to work tomorrow, And
Yeah.
I mean, that's how our country works, But we raced today, we raced yesterday. Tomorrow, I'm gonna spend some time with my family, and it's busy. But man, it's almost like we're so passionate about racing. As a driver, a team owner, engine builder, everybody on the racing team, they're so passionate about what we do. It's almost like, I mean, we've been working our tail off for 3 days, guys.
Yeah.
But man, we love it so much. It's not really work. You know what I mean? Hell, I want to run another race tomorrow. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so much fun. It's good stuff,
Yeah.
And if you can find something you're passionate about and do it for a living, you've really never worked in your life. You know what I mean? Kind of the way I see it.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you mentioned all these partners that are here and such, and the impact they've made on you. It amazes me watching from our perspective, and Dominic can allude to this too, is that when you come in and you're working with David Starr, it's not just a label that gets put on a race car. I mean, you're building true friendships with these people that you partner with and are hanging out and having a good time with them this weekend.
Well, I mean, there's so many, I talk about Mark Tate a lot,
Yeah.
T-Top Manufacturer, because I mean, obviously his condo, he's entertained our Whataburger people. They had such a great time Saturday. They got to sit on our pit box, take pictures by the Whataburger car. I mean, they had radios. I mean, they're just that engagement into our sport. People even never been to a NASCAR race. They were just loving it, and then they get to come up to the condo building and watch it from a condo that has great food. The atmosphere is electric, and drinks, and I mean your view of the speedway is unbelievable. And Mark's one of our partners. He keeps us on the racetrack,
Yeah.
T-Top Manufacturer, but he does so much for us. But man, just the whole thing. I love all of it, and I love every part of it, But I love winning, I love racing, and I love the people side. This will go away one day, the race car driver side of me, and I can't even imagine when that day comes. But one day it will go. But the relationships you have with everybody, they last a lifetime. You know what I mean? That's the main thing, and that's the best part. I can go to Little Rock, Arkansas, California. I can go anywhere, and I call somebody up and say, hey, man, I need somewhere to stay, and I got friends all over the country. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about our sport is the people side of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
For
cool.
sure. Dominic, what do you got?
No, I agree with that, man. You're right. The racing ends one day, but it's all the relationships you build, right? Meeting this guy 7 years ago, meeting you 10 years ago, right? It all expands. And I think that's what makes going to the racetrack the best part is the people. Because not fun if you're going by yourself, right? But if you have a group of people to be around or people to enjoy with it, it makes it that much more worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, let's talk about the race, dude.
Let's do
Man,
it.
come on.
Let's start with you, and then I want to transition
All right.
and talk about Kyle Larson and how his season's gone. 23rd, best finish you've ever had in the Cup Series. And all these cars today, typically we see that over time at Texas Motor Speedway, this has been a track of long green flag runs and not a whole lot of crashes and such. Today, there was a lot of action on track. You were dodging bullets the entire day, it seemed.
Man, I just think it's a package. NASCAR has this downforce package that we run. A lot of drag on the race cars, big spoilers in the back, big holes in the front of the front ends of the cars, and you can run wide open. And everybody's drafting, and you're on top of each other because you can run wide open and you can draft well, and it just puts the cars on top of each other. And it's. I mean, I kind of like it, but it's a shame to have that many crashes. You know, you're taking out some great cars. Ricky Stenhouse Sr. is in here with us tonight. His son, Ricky Jr., hell of a race car driver. And I cheer for him because the Stenhouses are good people. And even though I'm out there racing, I'm not going to beat Ricky Stenhouse Jr. But, knowing him, knowing his dad, knowing their family, they're just good people. You want to see him do good.
Sure.
He got taken out on lap 30. You know what I mean? I think it's the package we run. The package puts so much downforce in the car. You're running wide open, and it just puts everybody on top. It don't take much. Somebody messed up. I don't know who it was. Next thing you know, you took out 10 cars on lap 30. You know what I mean? But it's just the product of the way the cars drive.
Well, give us your perspective on that, right? Because that was the biggest crash in Texas NASCAR Cup Series history, over 10 cars involved. Walk us through that and how your perspective was, how close we're getting some carnage there.
Well, I don't know. It just, seemed like, just all hell broke loose coming off turn 2. I mean, I came off turn 2 and their spotter saying, go high, go high. There's smoke everywhere. It's kind of like that movie Days of Thunder, it's like they show, I mean, you see there's smoke, you can't see nothing. And my spotter said, going high. Hell, I went high. And I was just hoping I wasn't going to run into anybody because I really couldn't see. But, you just hate it. I hate it for the fans. I hate it for the competitors because, hell, lap 30, we got 200, 300 more laps to go, and you want to see 40 cars on the racetrack.
Sure.
You want to see good, hard racing. And I feel like when you take out 10 or 12 cars early in the race, I think it takes away from the fans. You don't see as good of a race, and people come to see race cars on the racetrack, but man, wrecking's part of what we do. It's been part of the sport since the sport started.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, I didn't even know that was the biggest wreck of the history of the Speedway. There's been a lot of wrecks here, but you know what I mean? But anyway,
You've been in a few of them.
Yeah, I've been in a few of them myself. But man, you do this long enough, you're going to have your fair share, But it was a great race. You look at Kyle Larson and the Hendrick Motorsports dominance this year. And it continues on. You look at what the Gibbs organization has done since the championship playoffs have started. And, but man, I'm not surprised how Kyle Larson's dominant. When he would pass me and lap me, I mean, it seemed like it was 5 minutes before second place lapped me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was on a rail. And, but
Anyway,
anyway, yeah, you look at the finish result, first and second, Hendrick Motorsports, but I think the 48 car was involved in that wreck early on.
Right.
But man, it's
2 of the top 7 from Hendrick today.
Unbelievable.
3 of the top 7. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Kyle Larson, with his resurgence, we know he missed most of last year and comes back this year with such authority. And Denny Hamlin has looked really good in this playoff and looks like the biggest challenger to Larson. What do you think of what Larson has done throughout 2021 and including today, the way that he dominated and really it's just been par for the course what he's done all season long? I mean, this is pretty special. We haven't seen this from Kyle Larson his whole career.
Well, he's driving for Chip Ganassi the last couple of years, and he could put those cars in the victory lane, not like he's not performing like he is in 2021, but he's won his fair share of races for Chip Ganassi. But man, you put him in a Hendrick Motorsports car, oh my God, this guy's on fire. But I was talking to Ricky Stenhouse earlier, and we were talking about Kyle Larson. Seemed like the Hendricks organization, I think they found something in their cars, and I don't know if it's a downforce deal underneath. They found something underneath. They have found something that their competitors don't have, and that's not to say that Kyle Larson, he's one of the best, because I was talking to Ricky Sr., and he said, man, Kyle Larson wins in a late model dirt car. Kyle Larson wins in a midget. Kyle Larson wins in a sprint car. He can win in anything he gets in. He reminds me of Tony Stewart and AJ Foyt. He's that good, and he's that good in NASCAR. But I think the Hendrick organization right now, I think they found something in all their race cars. I mean, this is not just here, but throughout the season and the playoffs. It's sometimes you see it's the 3 Hendrick cars in the top 5 or 4 Hendrick cars in the top 5. In Vegas, there were first, second, and fourth. I looked up one time.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously Kyle Larson, I think he's the guy to win the championship. It's his to lose.
It is absolutely. You look at the numbers, you can't look past the numbers because those don't lie. 8 wins. That's the most wins a Hendrick driver has had in any single season since 2007. Who won the title that year? Jimmy Johnson, with 10 victories and 2,000 laps led this year.
Yeah. So here's a question I have for you. When you see Kyle Larson get this win today, this is the first race of the round of 8. Now he knows he's going to Phoenix and in that championship 4 with a shot to win the title. These next 2 weeks, how much of an advantage do you think Kyle and that 5 team have, knowing that they're already going to be in the championship 4 compared to the other 3?
Oh man, it's a big deal. I mean, they can try something. I mean, every week they're the guy to beat.
Right.
The Hendrick cars, and Kyle Larson's almost the guy to beat. But if he can relax, I don't even know if he can relax, because he's a racer. He wants to win every race. He's like every driver out there. You want to win. You want to lead every lap. You want to lead practice. You want to win the pole, and you want to lead every race. And I think that's who Kyle Larson is. And so even though he's in the Final 4 for the championship, you see him in Kansas City next week, he ain't going to relax. He's going there to win. You know what I mean? He's a winner. The organization's a winner, and they only think one way, and that's win. You know what I mean? Now, will they try something? Will his crew chief, their engineering, will they try something to make them better in the final 3 races or Phoenix? I mean, I would think they're probably trying. So they got it figured out already. I don't know if they got to try much because they got it figured out. But if there's time that the next couple of races where they got a cushion because they're in the final race or the next 4 races, it's time to try something. But man, they got it figured out as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. I just think they're going to win all the way to the end.
Well, and Cliff Daniel said it best. He was post-race in the media center and asking these very questions too. And he said, no, it's business as usual. We're preparing for Kansas as if we did not win out here at Texas. We want to go out and try to lead the most laps, try to win every race. We're out there. We're competitors. We want to win every single race we're in. Kyle Larson kind of echoed the same thoughts too post-race.
I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you win this race, I mean, hell, we're going to the next race and we want to win. I mean, that's what we do. We want to win every race. We want to lead every lap. So, I mean, that's who they are. That's why they're Hendrick Motorsports. That's why Kyle Larson's Kyle Larson. He wins in sprint cars. He wins in midgets. He wins in dirt late models. He's a winner.
So looking ahead, you got Kansas coming up next week, Martinsville the week following. And this playoff picture, for folks that may not know, even if you're way back at points like Joe Logano, who's 103 out at in 8th place behind Kyle Larson here. Even if you're that far back, if you win, you still advance to the championship 4. So when you look at this points picture that's on your screen right now, David, of those guys there in these next 2 races, who do you think has the best shot to make that championship 4 to compete against Kyle Larson at Phoenix here in a couple of weeks for that title?
Man, you just got to – Denny Hamlin's the only one that really has been able to kind of knock Kyle Larson off the throne.
Yeah.
Denny's – I mean, it was amazing when the playoffs started. It almost seemed like the Gibbs organization was sandbagging some, because when the playoffs started, next thing you know, the Gibbs cars are leading races and winning races, you know. So I think you can't ever count out Denny Hamlin. You can't count out Kyle Busch, but you know, you got Chase Elliott. I mean, just all of them. I mean, you talked about the Penske car, Brad Keselowski. Truex had a bad wreck, you know. I don't know if he got hurt, but I heard his wreck was a hard hit. Mm-hmm. But man, you can't ever count out any of those guys, you know, because it only takes next week to win and advance you to the next one. So you could take Joey Logano, who's right now, you're telling me
he's won at both the next two tracks coming up before,
and he's the defending race winner of the Hollywood Casino 400.
Absolutely. So man, it's, you know, just like you guys and all the fans watching it, the playoffs are exciting, but anything can happen. So be interesting to see how it all works out next week.
So Tyler, I want to ask you, because you look at the points picture. Yeah. Kyle Larson's obviously in. We know that there's going to be at least one driver who points their way in. Who do you like to point their way in if they can't get it done at Martinsville or Kansas?
You know, I look at Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney has done really well since the end of the regular season. And here he is sitting second in points, 51 out. He gets a good finish. Top 5, he's in on points, and it won't matter what happens at Martinsville. If he can just have a solid top 5 day, then he'll be in good shape. I think Ryan Blaney is in good position to get to that next round. But you know, when I look at this playoff picture, one thing that intrigues me is that other than Ryan Blaney, here you have Logano and Keselowski in that playoff picture for Penske. All 3 Penske cars still in this top 8, but we haven't looked at Keselowski or Logano as guys that were really championship threats for the last, you know, several weeks. They've been in there. They're still alive, but they're not running to the level of sort of those Gibbs guys, the Hendrick guys. We know what Blaney's done the last several weeks. What I wonder is, when you look at Kez and Logano, with 2 weeks to go, can they turn on that switch and possibly steal that championship?
Well, you look, too, they've only won one race apiece, David. Talladega for Keselowski and Bristol for Logano. They're both having very quiet years, and they've kind of snuck their way into the round of 8.
Well, the interesting part, if you can be there, you know, if you can have one heck of a race at Phoenix, you get to Phoenix, those last 4 guys, if one of them is Brad Keselowski or Ryan Blaney, you just got to beat everybody else. I mean, you know, if you can go, I mean, if you make it in the top 4 to Phoenix and be in that race, if you have they just give you one heck of a race car and you beat Kyle Larson and you beat Denny Hamlin, I mean, you can have a guy that's kind of been struggling. It hasn't been a Denny Hamlin or a Kyle Larson all year long, but even in the playoffs, if he makes it to the Final 4 and has a heck of a race at Phoenix, he's going to have to win it or beat the other ones. A sleeper, then you got a champion that we never even thought was going to be a champion.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what makes NASCAR racing exciting. You know what I mean? The way the playoffs are structured. You know, we talk about Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they're the guys we've always been talking about all year long, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't have a sleeper champion. You know, sleeper, all of them are champions and all of them are good, but somebody to step up at the last minute and beat those guys.
Well, and we kind of saw Joey Logano a couple years ago be a sleeper champion of sorts, with only winning 3 races that year.
I think you dubbed it the Big 3 and D, 2018, right?
Yes. Oh, that is well said. So before we get to our news and notes segment, I want to wrap up on Texas as a whole. This was our second visit in Texas in 2021. The All-Star race was here, and you had this late October affair. Weather was just beautiful. Great day of racing. We didn't have to deal with any rain, thank God, in the last couple days. That was all good. Next year, this race moves to late September. It's going to be a little bit earlier. And we saw how successful the All-Star race was this summer. David, tell me, what was your thoughts on another successful 2-race campaign of Texas Motor Speedway, your home track, getting to host some big-time races here in 2021?
Well, I mean, the Speedway does a good job, NASCAR does a good job, and the racing's good. And you know, the way the racetrack is, they reformed turns 1 and 2, took a lot of banking out. They're putting the traction stuff in the middle of the racetrack. I just think it creates great racing. In the past, I don't know. It's been a great season of racing here at the Texas Motor Speedway. But NASCAR as a whole, the whole season's been a great season.
Oh, yeah.
Been very competitive. Even though there hasn't been practice or qualifying, it's been a great year. It's been exciting. We've had several different winners. It's just NASCAR racing is doing well these days. The health of the sport's doing good.
Yeah, and we'll be back at Texas for 2 dates next year, and COTA also going to be back on the schedule as we know for 2022 as well. David, these Texas race fans, we got a lot of Texas race fans in the house. And they're going to be representing well at COTA next week for F1 as well. I mean, these fans have earned these dates, haven't they? Whether it's COTA or here or whatever it may be, they're seeing some great races.
Man, we got great race fans all over the country. But hey, Texas, you just look at the history of the attendance here at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's not what it is today, but years past, we've had 220-something thousand people here at the Texas Motor Speedway on a Cup race day. I don't know what the attendance was today, but I can tell you the race fans in Texas are passionate about their NASCAR race. They're passionate about motorsports. F1 next week at COTA, the IndyCar race here at Texas, the truck race. They always come and support racing in general, but we have great racing fans all over the country. It seems like Texas never disappoints us, and love the fans here.
Dominic, I believe, what was this? Your second visit to Texas? What was your experience like for being here at Texas Motor Speedway?
Yeah, second visit here, 5th overall. I'm blown away every time I come here to Texas, man. The fans are awesome. The people are great. The hospitality is great. They say everything's bigger in Texas. It truly does live up to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, before we get to our news and notes segment, just a reminder that the folks at Whataburger cook up 100% pure beef burgers 24 hours a day. You can get your burger fix anytime, day or night at Whataburger. Proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. What a burger. Dominic, what is happening in the racing world?
What's happening in the racing world? Kyle Larson's what's happening in the racing world, right? 8 wins in 2021 and his 14th overall. Kyle Larson passes Chase Elliott and Tim Richmond and others on the NASCAR all-time Cup Series wins list. Ties Leroy Yarborough with his 253 laps led in the Auto Trader Echo Park 500 at Texas Motor Speedway.
Decent numbers, right? That's good company.
Pretty good. That's some great company right there, no doubt about it.
Is it too early to be talking about Kyle Larson among the all-time greats? Can we have that discussion yet, or we still let things play out a little bit?
I think after he wins the championship, we can talk about it now. But I think he's something special in our industry, and his talent level, like I said earlier, he reminds me of an AJ Foyt, a Tony Stewart type of a driver, and those guys.
Yeah.
Look what they went on to do, and no, I don't think it's too early. I think he's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it.
Now, when you look at what Kyle's doing this year, and we saw what Chase did last year, and how well Kyle Busch has done over time, Denny Hamlin has won a lot of races. Is Kyle the best driver in the sport right now, or is he just having the best season?
I think he's the best.
Yeah.
You run 8 races, and when he jumps out of his Cup car and goes to the local dirt track somewhere in Wisconsin, and he gets in a sprint car and he wins, and he gets in a dirt late model, there's no denying that he's probably the best right now. You know what I mean? And will be for a while. But he's the talent he has. You don't have drivers. Some drivers, they specialize in IndyCar racing, specialize in sprint car racing. This guy can jump in anything and win. And that's when you got somebody special. Kyle Larson is special.
Yeah, he is. Dominic, what else is going on?
So NASCAR has told Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott, might be a little bit old news, to put the feud to rest, right? Because the feud can affect thousands of people for NASCAR. So NASCAR is telling everybody, hey, cool it. Think about the people who are involved with these teams, right? This affects people's livelihoods, paychecks, right? We're talking about the rivalry of Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott that dates back to Bristol. And guys, Dave especially, man, this feud reminded me so much of the Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Bodine rivalry of the 1980s, where NASCAR had to step in and tell these guys to cool it.
Absolutely. We had Jeff Bodine on our podcast, and I didn't realize that him and Dale Earnhardt, that the movie Days of Thunder was kind of built after their relationship and their rivalry they had, and NASCAR did have to step in. But let me remind y'all that Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott, one of our biggest superstar race car drivers in the Cup Series for a while. I mean, to have them feuding and beating and banging on the racetrack, people love it. The fans love it. It's drama. Drama is good for our sport. So I think it's all, I mean, really, I don't want anybody to take me out. I don't want to take anybody out. But these guys are hard competitors and a little bit of drama. Man, let me tell you, I ran in that Bristol race, in the Cup race.
Yeah.
When I got out of my race car, man, when they were interviewing Kevin Harvick, I never heard so many boos. The place was exploded with boos. And I didn't know what Kevin was saying, but what was happening, that when he spoke, you couldn't even hear. It was just boo. I mean, and then, man, when they interviewed Chase Elliott, man, the place erupted. You know what I mean? It was amazing. You know, I felt like the guy, whoever won that race, they were like, man, I'm getting the glory's kind of taken away from the winner because they were so intrigued and so excited about that, what was happening, the drama, and the drama continued on into Vegas and the next week, and then in the Roval. But I think a little bit of racing drama, a little bit of rivalry in our sport is good for the sport. It keeps me, I wonder what's going to happen to these guys next week. Who's going to do what? You know, the fans can't wait. It's going to be exciting. So it's not a bad thing, but NASCAR did have to step in and say, hey, guys, you know, time out.
So we had an update on this feud today, actually post-race. This courtesy from Jeff Gluck. He caught up with Kevin Harvick afterwards. And Harvick said, I'm still baffled that he's worried about me. I had no chance to win a championship. Looks like he should figure out how to take the same car and run as fast as the 5. What do you think of that comment, David?
Well, I mean, you know, knowing Kevin like I know him, so he is not going to be a 2021 NASCAR champion.
Right, he's out of the playoff, right.
But it's interesting because I think he's getting into the head of Chase Elliott. You know what I mean? So he's talking, Chase Elliott's probably listening, and it's interesting, you know, if you got Chase Elliott, our champion, 2020 champion, and driving a Hendrick Motorsports car, and you bring Kyle Larson over as your teammate, and you're the past champion, and next thing you know, Kyle Larson seems to be the #1 guy over there, and Kevin's kind of putting fuel to that fire. I mean, I would say Kevin's playing a little bit of mind games with Chase Elliott right now, and I think knowing Kevin like I know him, you know, he's probably going to do everything he can to make sure that Chase Elliott is not the champion 2021. And I think that's what NASCAR is worried about. They want him to keep it clean. Hey guys, let's go back to racing. Let's stop the feuding right now because there's a lot at stake with Chase Elliott right now because he's in the championship run.
Right.
So, you know, Kevin's probably saying, okay, guys, I agree, NASCAR. We'll stay away from each other. But he's not really doing that. He is going to do it on the racetrack, but now he's playing mind games with the guy.
So we know Chase is a young guy and that he is a champion.
Yeah.
Do you think Kevin can get to him? Do you think this is going to affect Chase?
Man, I don't know. You got to remember who Chase Elliott's dad is.
Yeah.
Awesome Bill Elliott. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this ain't his first rodeo. And I mean, he's won from other championships growing up. And, you know, sometimes, you can't let people play mind games with you. But Kevin's trying, and I wouldn't think it would affect Chase Elliott. He's a champion. He's a winner. I do think it bothers him, and I don't know this for a fact. I'm giving you my opinion. I think it bothers Chase Elliott that he's not the #1 guy at Hendricks right now, and he's not the guy that's favored for the championship, and he's not the one bringing home the trophies to Hendrick Motorsports on Monday morning.
Yeah.
I think it does bother him.
So I have a feeling that I know where this is going to go, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this out anyway. So let's poll the audience here. Who's on Chase Elliott's side in the Kevin Harvick feud? Okay. That was very loud for Chase Elliott. All right. Now who's on Kevin Harvick's side? I think we heard more from Kevin.
Yeah,
absolutely,
so, man.
Yeah. So that actually was a bit of a surprise.
Yes, I agree.
And you know what's cool? What's cool about everybody's responses and our audience here, and that's if you took all the race fans sitting in the stands, you know, that's what's cool. That's what makes the rivalry kind of cool. So you got, you know, half the fans for Harvick, half the fans for Chase Elliott, you know, but I think if you look at the last most popular driver in NASCAR, I think Chase Elliott's won it about the last 3 or 4 years. So, but anyway, like I said, the feud and the rivalry is a great thing for our sport.
We have a comment in from the YouTube stream. Sean Estrada says Chase. And we have Eddie E says, hi, David, great job today. And Judson Racing Network, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Very nice. And anything else on the news and notes front?
That'll do it on the news and notes.
Yes. So there you have it. That's what we have for you on the news and notes, as always, here on Let's Go Racing. Before we get to our Ask David segment, I do want to bring in the folks from Connectus, Neil and company. Who we have anyone else here? Just Neil. Neil, come on through. And as we have David Starr also here. Make room. We'll try to act like we like one another. Neil, Connectus. So you guys were on the car today, and this was your first time working with David. Tell us about Connectus and what was your experience like being at the track this weekend?
Absolutely delighted to be here this weekend. I mean, every single person with us, whether it was from Connectus or from Kyocera, which is also on the shirt, had an absolute fabulous time. And we were so happy as well with the result, 23rd. You know, apparently it's a lifetime best in the Cup Series. So very, very happy. Delighted as well with the coolness of the man, because I think it was a spin out in the 302nd lap, if I remember, Antonio Alfredo. Yeah, and all the cars were at a standstill, and there was a little fellow handing out water, and I asked David later on, you know, did you want the water? Was it really sweltering hot in the car? And he said, no, Neil, I actually didn't need the water. I just wanted to be polite. That's David. That's the encapsulation of David Starr. Very modest and always thinking about other people.
That's awesome. Connectus, you guys, new partner with David Starr. Tell us about what you and Kyocera are doing.
So Connectus is a Verizon master agent. And so we have agents throughout the entire United States who help small to medium-sized business with their technology needs, particularly wireless, business internet, conference calling, and such like.
Very cool. And a announcement. We have a week to build on this because we'll be on the road again next week at Kansas Speedway, and we're going to do a bit of a giveaway,
Absolutely, Tyler. So we went to our partners, Kyocera, and we said, do you happen to have a phone somewhere on a shelf that we could offer as a prize for a competition? And they said, no, for Tyler and Dominic, no, it has to be only the best. So they gave me a brand new top of the line. This is the Duraforce Ultra 5G ultra wideband. So I mean, it's top of the line. It does everything 5G ultra wideband. It's ruggedized. If you drop it from a high height, it will survive. You can put it underwater, etc., etc. It's not going to be this one. It's going to be new in the box, and you get 7 days to give us the correct answer. Yeah, by giving the answers below in the comment boxes. Now, the question we were going to ask you was, what are the primary colors of the driving suit that David wore today? And then it occurred to me, how silly is that? Because
look at that right there.
Exactly. I'm wearing it. It's red, white, and blue. So I thought to myself, let's come up with something a little bit funnier, something a little bit imaginative. Okay. So I want you to think about the names, the titles of tunes or songs that we all know. So let me give you an example. The first one that comes to mind. What was the first video that was played on MTV? If you think back, it was the Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star. So we could play with it a little bit and think, let's say Video Killed the Rodeo Star, right? That's not particularly funny. A lot of you know the Neil Young song, the Butcher song, Every Time You Go Away. Thank you.
Neil, you sing good, buddy.
But change it 1 or 2 words. So instead of the usual words, every time you go away, you take a piece of meat with you. Yeah, now that's not particularly funny. I know you can all come up with much funnier ideas than that. So you get 7 days, enter as many times as you want. Just take a song with a title that we would all recognize, change 1 or 2 words, and in 7 days, Tyler and Dominic will announce which one we think is the funniest. Okay?
Awesome.
I love it.
Thank you. Very, very
And we'll
nice.
be announcing the winner at the Kansas Speedway
Kansas
live show.
next week.
Yes.
Yes.
Sounds
Unbelievable.
great.
Next week, that'll be incredible. The one I would come up with, there's that song I Can Only Imagine. What about I Can Only Eat Margarine?
Like it. That's good.
There you go. You're on the right track.
I can only eat Whataburger.
Oh yeah.
Man, I just want to say, deal to, John and Kelly and the Connectus family, man. Thank y'all for believing in my racing team and stepping in and sponsoring us and being a part of our racing today here at Texas Motor Speedway. And man, it's been a pleasure to meet all your employees, customers. Man, it's just been a heck of a weekend. Man, I'm so excited about the future with us.
It's been wonderful for us as well, David. Thank you very much for
Thank you,
partnering
man.
with us.
Thank
I look
you.
forward to the future.
There you have it.
There we go.
Connectus. Check him
Next,
out.
everybody.
Now, let's bring in Mark Tate.
Absolutely.
How we doing, my friend? Good to see you. Mark Tate, the man, the myth, the legend, has been so gracious to host us this weekend and doing a great job, of course, with T-Top Manufacturing. Mark, tell us about this weekend from your vantage point. Did you have a good time?
We always have a good time. Or we change whatever it is that don't make a good time. Of course we had a good time. We got to meet more new people. David's got some new sponsors on his car, so I got to meet a lot of those people. We appreciate them helping David. David's got a really big family. Like he said, he don't just have sponsors. He creates a family, and you kind of grow with them.
What do we call him, Uncle David?
Uncle David.
I met so many
Cousin Dan.
The great thing is we're all NASCAR fans too, so it's even double plus. So we've met a lot of good people, a lot of new people, and we appreciate them for helping David. Just since I met David a couple of years ago, I met the Stenhouses. I got to meet Stenhouse Senior today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which
Yeah,
is a
Ricky,
legend.
yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
all the stories
yeah.
and finally got to meet him today. And heck, I've even met Junior's bus driver, Chris. He comes up and hangs out with. So you don't just meet sponsors, you meet everybody.
Mhm.
And it takes a big team and organization.
Takes a village.
It absolutely does.
But yeah, the only thing to make these weekends better is we go back to qualifying and practicing, so we can make it a 4-day weekend instead of a 2-day.
There you go.
That'd be the one thing that would help make the weekends better.
Tell us about your company.
Yeah, tell us about T-Top.
We are a metal fabricator, sheet metal fabrication. We do a lot of work for Peterbilt Motors. We do a lot of work for baggage handling companies. You name it. If it's made out of metal, aluminum, steel, stainless steel, we can pretty much do anything with it.
So Mark looks at our race cars. He said, "I can build that part for you. I can build this
Dave's never
piece."
wrecked, so I don't really have a lot to offer, David. He never turns anything up that we can help replace sheet metal.
Man, I just, Mark and his wife, Carrie, just so gracious. We had our Whataburger folks here on Saturday's race for the Xfinity race, and they get to come down and take pictures with the Whataburger car. They took pictures in our pit stall. They're all branded Whataburger, and they got to sit on the pit box and watch the race for about 20 laps, 40 laps, whatever it was. And Mark invited them up to his condo. He had food for them. He had drinks. I mean, just Mark and his family are so good with helping us. Not only does Mark sponsor us and help support us and keep us racing, he helps me with my other partners, So it's just a great relationship, and you can tell all these folks this beautiful condo we're in that y'all stayed in this weekend. Mark was nice enough to let us use it this weekend.
Yeah.
So Mark Tate and his wife Carrie, they do so much for us in racing. It's just I'm just blessed that he's my friend.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Sure.
Mark, as always, my friend, great seeing you. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate
The only
you.
thing, David, was you weren't supposed to beat the T-Top. That was the deal. We let Connecticut have you for this weekend, but you weren't supposed to beat it.
So the deal was, Mark had T-Top Manufacturing on the hood of Timmy Hill's car. And so my deal with Mark is, hey man, we're going to support Timmy this weekend, but you can't pass that car. I said, Mark, that might be the only car I can pass. So every time I passed Timmy Hill on the racetrack, I was thinking, oh, Mark's going to be mad again. You know?
That's good.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. All right. Our Ask David segment coming up in just 1 second. But stop by Whataburger for a hot, hearty breakfast any morning or late at night. They're serving up breakfast from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. Proud to serve a hot and fresh 24 hours a day at Whataburger. Let's go ahead and get to our Ask David segment where we'll bring in the audience to ask some questions. And so we'll go ahead and see who wants to get the first question in. Not everybody all at once. Don't be shy. Come on. Jack. I know you got a question. Come on. Neil's got a question.
I got that guy in the back, Jackie.
All right. You don't ask the question from the other side of the camera. All right, here we go. Who's up first? All right, come on back.
Come here, Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Come
okay.
on.
Come on. All right, guys. Come on, Jack.
All right, here we go.
Show your face for a minute and answer the question. Come here.
Well, I'm an old NASCAR fan, and since the day it started, I saw you maybe tonight in the hallway
Right.
from my friend that lives next door. Did you drive the trucks? Were you in the truck
I
series?
raced in the truck series for like 16, 17
Okay,
years.
and
Absolutely.
I do remember then from those days. You reminded me how old I am. All right, thank you. I just saw.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Good to meet you.
David did drive in the truck series, had a very successful run in the truck.
Man, I love the truck racing. The NASCAR, I mean, I don't care if you're NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, or the Cup Series. Every series is so competitive, and man, racing those pickup trucks for as long as I did, man, I cherish and love those days. They were great racing days. Racing with Ron Hornaday and Jack Sprague and Mike Skinner and Dennis Setzer and, you know, on and on and on. It's just, man, we just had some great. You talking about Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott rivalries. Man, the truck series back in the day when I raced there, dude, we were all beating and banging. There was rivalries every week. It was awesome. So I love the truck days.
I'd love to remind you about that fight you had with Tom Bodine.
Well, I would just tell you that's called passion. You know what I mean? So that's just passion. You know. We'll leave that. We'll leave that at that. You know?
And we'll open up the questions
Wait,
here too.
hold on. I got to know. Kim, do you remember when he got into it with Todd?
I was pregnant with DJ right there.
What did you say to him afterwards?
Whip his ass.
Now we got the real story.
He's probably mad at me for saying ass, but yeah.
Hey,
Cheering him on.
the truth of the matter, Todd Bodine was a very just a great race car driver, a tough competitor, and I mean we raced pickup trucks. I mean we beat and bang. We're tough trucks, tough drivers, and man, tempers flared at times. But to sum it up, I would just say passion. If you didn't care, if you didn't want to win so bad, you know, sometimes, you know, your temper gets the best of you because you want to win. It's passion.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff happens. But the truth of the matter is Todd was a great friend of mine, still a great friend today. And it happens, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Let's get another question. Who's got another question?
Yes.
Come on up. Coach Griff.
So I just met you for the first time earlier.
Yes.
Tell us your name.
Jackie Griffith,
Where are you from, Jackie?
Eastern Oklahoma.
Hey, there we go.
So
Sooner.
the first thing that I noticed was in your voice and in your speak was your passion for what you do.
Yes, sir.
But I got a question. If you wasn't doing this, what would you be doing?
That's a great question.
Mowing his lawn.
Yeah.
I said that you would be like Hank Hill selling propane and propane accessories.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I think that's a great question. And growing up working for my dad, we had an automotive transmission shop called Starr Automotive and Transmission Service. You know, I learned a lot from my dad. He was a great mechanic and loved cars and could fix any kind of car or truck. And man, our business, my parents' business was incredible. And I think I thank God a lot. When you follow your dream, you you can't always take off for work. When you work for your parents, you can beg for forgiveness later. A normal job, you couldn't do that. So being able to work for my parents and learn that trade as a mechanic to be that was my trade. That's what I did to make a living after I graduated. But it also gave me the freedom to do what I needed to do to race cars, go wherever I need to drive this guy's race car, travel here, race for this guy, racing, trying to get to that, trying to reach where we're at today. If it wasn't for my parents having their business, I might not have made it. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't racing cars, I probably took over my dad's business and running a transmission automotive shop in Houston, Texas. You know what I mean? I think, you asked if I didn't make it in racing, I would probably still be racing a race car, dirt car, or something somewhere, but owning my parents' business, because that's what we grew up doing. That's what I know. That's what I did. And I still do that today.
Let's go around the room. Dominic, what would you do if you weren't doing this job?
I stumped. That's an excellent question. I probably didn't send to my hometown, Grants, New Mexico.
Teaching.
Yeah, I might be teaching.
Yeah, might be teaching.
Yeah.
And Tyler, before you say it, man, I don't even think everybody here listening to Tyler speak. And when you open your mouth, I mean, we can't think. I mean, I would never think of you doing anything else except what you do, because I mean, when you open your mouth and speak, you got to be a radio guy or a TV commentator or a newscaster, a sports newscaster, because you're gifted with such a great, beautiful voice. But man, I wish
Stop.
I mean, it's amazing, dude.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
but it is interesting. I'd like to know, if you wasn't doing what you do, what would you do?
Well, I've always loved people and communicating with people. And so I would probably work in, some type of marketing of some sort, maybe advertising industry. I feel like I watch some of these commercials on TV. I'm like, these idiots don't know how to make a good TV commercial. Or in my next life, I'm getting into real estate and buying a lot of property and selling things.
like that.
Maybe a realtor or something. So that's me. But all interesting answers there. Who else got another question? All right, Jackie, come on by. How we doing, Jackie?
I'm doing great.
All right, what do you got for us?
Okay, so I know you mentioned the movie Days of Thunder when there was a wreck on the track, right?
Yeah.
How realistic is that connection to your crew chief in actual racing?
Well, that's a great question, because sometimes it's not so much my crew chief, but people know Carl Long because Carl was a race car driver, raced the NASCAR Cup Series for years, raced trucks, Xfinity. Now he's my team owner. But sometimes Carl gets on the radio and says, "Hey, don't pit the next lap because we're eating ice cream." You know what I mean? He makes it fun. You know what I mean? And today during
That
the
sounds
race,
like Carl.
that's Carl. I mean, so Carl, sometimes it's real like that. Real when we heard in the Days of Thunder when what was the crew chief's name? God, I don't remember.
Harry Hogg, right?
Harry Hogg.
It was Harry Hyde.
Dominic, yeah.
But sometimes it's real like the movie. Absolutely. Not all the time, but Carl makes it fun, and he asks some funny questions, and he makes it where we're so serious and so focused. He'll get on there and he'll say something crazy and funny, and it just kind of breaks the ice to loosen you up. You know what I mean? So it does happen, and that's a great question.
Yeah. Sweet.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bring in somebody else.
Who else we got? Who's got some other questions? Go ahead.
Come on, Courtney. Introduce Courtney.
All right, let's first, before we get to your question, we wanted to take some time to introduce Courtney. Courtney is David's right hand, assistant, PR, about everything in between. And we've been working with Courtney for about a year, but this is the first time we've actually got to meet you. And we'd love to have you this weekend. And tell us first off about what's it been like dealing with this guy, because he can be a little bit to handle.
Oh, you're telling me. Well, I will say, if there's any driver that I want to represent, it's him. He is everything that the sport should be, and he to me is just a perfect example for the future drivers. So that's one thing I want to say. He's great to work for. He's great to work with. He's always happy. He's always passionate. He's always excited. A little disorganized sometimes.
A lot.
A little scatterbrained.
Yeah, that's why we're here. So that's one thing. But one thing I would love for you to talk a little bit about is why a finish like today is important for our small team the way it is, because not everyone understands why this is so big for us to have such a good finish.
Man, that's a great. That's a good statement, a good question, because
She wants the PR spin.
well now
You know.
it's just good for our team. I mean, obviously there's a lot of teams that we compete against that aren't big budgeted teams. You got your powerhouse teams, and I consider our Carl Long MBM Motorsports team a smaller team. It's not one of the ones that has millions and millions and millions of dollars, and we're not a powerhouse team. But you take a bunch of guys and women that work on our racing team. They don't have all the resources it takes to be a winning racing team, but what they do have, they have a lot of heart, and they have a lot of passion. And when you can run good and get a great finish like we did today, and we had a great race car in Xfinity race 2, we had a mechanical issue towards the end, and when we didn't get the finish that we thought we were going to get. But man, when you run good, it just kind of all that hard work and all that passion and all that dedication and all the hours and hours being away from your family, the struggles, it makes it worth it when you can run good, and having Connectus on board with us this weekend, and having Whataburger, they understand, and I think one of the things that they like about us, we don't ever give up. We're very passionate. We have a lot of heart about what we're doing, and they probably know that we're not going to win the race. But man, we go there. We come to the racetrack thinking we can. When I get inside the race car, I mean, I'm a winner. My team's a winner. We want to win. The reality of it is we don't have the equipment to win. But man, if I can finish in the top 15, top 10, sometimes I want to pull into victory lane with the winner because we won. But to Courtney's point, it's so much for our partners, everybody, our team, myself, to run good every once in a while, because that's what we all want to do, and I love it when my team's excited when they leave the racetrack. I mean, even though it was 23rd, I mean, it's not winning, but it's almost like a win for our little team, I mean, I want to cross the finish line and be the first one to see that checkered flag. We work every day to accomplish that goal, and the hope brings us back tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks from now. And with great partners like Connectus and Whataburger, we're heading in the right direction, And but man, that's just, I just think it's momentum, and it's for the team, really more for the team, because man, they're excited, and we get to go do this again next week. So great question for me.
Now, Courtney, before you go here, now let David brag on you for a second, because she carries a lot of weight for you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this sport, you got your sending out presentations. You do a presentation on the computer, email it. Well, I don't have a lot of skills. Courtney's a great team. We're a great team together. She mails out presentations. We have schedules. She says, hey, you need to be here, be there. Helps me with my travels. She's here taking care of the Connectus people and the Kyocera people. She helps coordinate when the Whataburger people come to the racetrack contract. She does more than I pay her for. But really, the truth of the matter is, but Courtney also works for another company that sponsors me, Alarm Tech Systems. Courtney lives in Reading, Pennsylvania. I live in Dallas, Texas. But we're a great team together. With all the electronics we have and emails and everything, we can work as one team. But man, her other employer, Missy and Rich Fix, that own Alarm Tech System, man, You talking about some of the best people that I know. And man, what a great sponsor. They sponsor us at Pocono, Pennsylvania, Dover, Delaware, and Courtney works for them, and they're nice enough. And, even though they sponsor us, they love NASCAR, and we're kind of like family. They said, man, the girl that works for us does a great job. She does so many other jobs besides racing. I mean, it's amazing that my sponsor, Alarm Tech System, Rich and Missy, will let me have Courtney. I mean, she was here Friday. She should have been at work. You know what I mean? I mean, what a great partner. What a great sponsor we have, and it works. You know what I mean? So Missy and Rich, Vix, and their girls are just an awesome family. And what a blessing it is to have Courtney working with me. She makes it, behind the scenes, she makes it all work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So she's awesome.
There you go.
Absolutely.
We didn't mean to embarrass you.
Thank you.
Oh, good. There you have it. All right. So Vance has got a question. Vance Starr.
What's the hardest thing about switching to Xfinity Car to switching to a Compass Series car?
Oh man, buddy, that's a
very good question.
That's
a big J Journal question right there.
Money.
Nancy wants to know, my son wants to know what the difference between an Xfinity car and a Cup car. Well, I would say about 15 miles an hour faster. The Cup car is electronic fuel injection, so it makes more horsepower. It's got a computer. It's got a cool dash panel. The car sits lower to the ground. It's a different type of race car. Both of them are great race cars. They're both fast. They're both stock cars. But the car we race today is a lot different from the car I ran, my Whataburger car. My Connectus car, my Connectus Ford Mustang today was a great race car, but there's a lot of differences. In Cup racing, there's no ride half rules. The car is slammed on the ground. My other son, DJ, he always says, hey, Dad, that vehicle down the high slam, what's slam mean, buddy? He's like, it's on the ground, it's lower, you know what I mean? All our Cup cars are slammed. They're all on the ground. They look cool. They're low, electronic fuel injection, lots of power. We got computers, ECMs. I mean, it's just, on our race on Saturday, our Xfinity cars, there's no electronic fuel injection. It's still a carburetor, and we don't have an ECM. We don't have computers yet on the Xfinity side.
Is it like going from your SUV to your sports car?
Not really, because both cars are fast. So not really. I would compare it that way, because the Xfinity cars, they're fast, and they handle the same. As far as I'm concerned, they drive the same. But one's about 15 miles an hour faster. The Cup car, man, you can feel the horsepower. Xfinity car, even though there's plenty of power there, you can't feel that power as much as I feel it on Sundays car.
Yeah. Is there any street car that would maybe compare it to running a Cup or Xfinity car, that the way it would feel with the handling or anything?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the new Corvettes, how fast they are and how they accelerate, or Carl Long's wife, Dee, drives a Tesla. And for the first time when I was at the shop about 4 weeks ago, Carl said, hey, man, get this Tesla. First Tesla I ever drove or rode in. And, man, when you step on the throttle on that Tesla, oh, my God. I mean, I never knew how it's instant. And, man, it'll set you back in the seat. And it feels like the acceleration on our Cup cars. Man, when you step on the gas pedal on one of these Cup cars, man, there's some power there.
Shout out Elon Musk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. We got time for about one or two more questions. All right. Come on down.
All right.
All right. What's your name?
Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
Where are you from?
I'm going to guess Dallas?
No. Tell them where you're from. Denton, Texas. Yeah.
Mean Green.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mean Green.
Yeah.
All right.
My question is, who has the best lawn in
Where's Matt? Matt can answer that.
I hear you cut it with scissors.
Well, I mean, growing up, that's a man, Cassie, that's cute. Everybody's giving me a hard time about my lawn, but growing up, my dad, our yard had to be spotless, no leaves, edged and mowed with lines. You know, my dad liked our yard spotless. He trimmed the bushes. So, man, growing up as a little boy, he just taught me. He said, after you mow the grass and trim the bushes, you pick up every leaf and you turn the soil over and you wash the driveway and you wash the street.
Sure.
And man, I'm my dad. I do all of it. I can't stand a leaf in my yard, and my yard's I can't leave or go do anything. My yard's not manicured just perfect, you know. And your dad, Jack, knows that. And it's kind of a bad disease, you know. I don't think it's a bad thing, but you know, it's like, man, I can't leave because my yard don't look good. I got to spend a day mowing my yard. That's bad, you know what I mean? But I like taking care of my yard. I love my home, and I like it clean, and you know, I like everything spotless. And I don't know if that's reality, but that's just what I like. And so, yeah, my wife said, everybody in the neighborhood knows you're weird, and I am weird. That's one of my quirkiness is that I like my yard clean, you know. But it's all good. But that's cool. I like that, Cassie. Thanks for calling me out.
All right. One more. Who wants to ask the last question of the night? All right, go ahead.
Come on. That's Tony.
All right, Tony, how we doing?
Hey, we want to thank you again for partnering up on the Whataburger car this weekend with Boathouse, both headquartered in Corpus Christi. We love that.
Tony's a great guy. Matt Jennings, a guy that helps me with a lot of our sponsors. Matt and Tony are great friends, and Tony's been helping us all year with his company, Boathouse Bar and Grill in Corpus Christi.
Yep, right out there on North Padre Island.
Yeah, but Tony was on our Whataburger car this weekend, and he also sponsored Timmy Hill this weekend, and he's helped us throughout the year this week. And man,
we
really appreciate it.
It's been great. It's been great this season.
Yeah.
I want you to tell us a story, since you mentioned Days of Thunder, when Cole Trickle was yelling at his pit boss when he came in first and left third. I want you to tell us about a story that happened with you. You came in and the pit crew wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Like an air gun got caught or something got caught. Tell us about that story.
Man, Tony, you put me on the spot.
Nothing negative. Nothing negative.
I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus.
No. I mean, it's man, you know, it goes back to
what's going through your mind.
It's going back to passion. You know what I mean? It's man, you know, I feel like the driver's got to do his job, and you know, your crew chief's got to do his job, and everybody has a job to do, and you know, you expect the best out of everybody, and you know, and when you come in 15th and you go out 22nd or 25th, I mean, it's hard to pass race cars on the racetrack. I mean, that's what we do, but it's easy if you come in pit road to put 4 tires on, make adjustments, and fuel up the race car. If you come in 15th, I want to go out 15th, or I want to go out 14th. When we come in 15th and we go out 25th, man, I'm mad. You know, I'm mad. You know, and it's called passion. We're just competitive, and you know, and sometimes, you know, a lot of times it's hard to hold your emotions back, because I'm a guy that lifts my team up, and sometimes my lips bleeding because I'm biting so hard because I want to, you know. But I think, you know, my team owner sitting on the pit box, my crew chief, a lot of times I don't even have to say anything because I know they're doing it for me, you know. But if you tell your team, hey man, we'll get them next time, or hey, I'll get them back, if you lift them up, because you know, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes behind the steering wheel. Your crew's going to make a mistake. Everybody's going to make mistakes, but I can just say we lose as a team and we win as a team. And, you know, so I've learned over the years, you know, just keep your mouth shut, lift people up, let them know it's going to be okay. They're going to fight harder for you. If I belittle them or get on to them, you know, you don't want to do that, even though sometimes I want to do that. And have I done it in the past? I have. But, you know, I think if you tell people, hey, man, you're a hell of a tire changer, you know, you guys are awesome, and, hey, things happen, we'll get it back. We will get it back. We'll get those spots back. You know, if you work like that, I feel like it's better as an organization, you know, because I'm kind of the quarterback of our team, and I lift people up. I don't want to try to, you know, knock them down. And you know, Tony, they feel bad when they don't do good. You know what I mean? Sure. So, I mean, if they're like me, man, nobody's your own worst critic than yourself. You know, I hold myself to high standards. your business, you're successful, you hold yourself to high standards. I think, everybody working on my racing team, I hope they do the same thing, and I'm pretty sure they do. So, but have I wanted to say something bad almost every race, but I don't.
Hold that race, buddy.
Oh, man. All right. Yes. Okay. Before we go, a quick note looking ahead to next week, by the way. We're excited to announce some big breaking news of sorts that next Saturday at Kansas Speedway, that we're going to see Brett Baer, the host of Special Report of Fox News, have a special paint scheme promoting his new book, To Rescue the Republic, the #1 best-selling book in the country right now. And that's going to be on your race car. And the car is going to have Ulysses S. Grant on the car.
Man,
Tell me about this.
Man, Brett Baer, man, Brett Baer is just an awesome person. Matt Jennings brought Brett Baer to us. Brett joined us for a couple races earlier in the season, and we went to a hospital, and I got to do some stuff with Brett, hang out with Brett. I watch him on TV with Fox News in the evening time in Texas at 6 o'clock in the evening. You can watch Brett Baer, special report with Brett Baer. I love Brett Baer. He's got a great voice like you. He gives you the facts. What a great guy. And I want to, if we can bring in Matt Jennings. Come here, Matt. Come on, Matt.
We ran out of time for Matt Jennings.
We kind of have to apologize to Brett Baer because I was going through some final. Yes, we're very excited about this car next weekend. Brett has taken. He's the New York Times best-selling author. Of course, his book's #1 after week 1, and and it's a great story. I can relate to certain portions of Ulysses' life in this novel, but. We have to apologize to Brett Baer because we're in the car going around the speedway the other night, and I'm asking for final artwork approval, and I'm getting very, very short answers on email from Brett, like, yes, sir. Are we good to go next week? Yes, sir. Okay. Can I push this to the press? Awesome. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. I looked down at the time, and then I let a few select words fly from the passenger seat in the car because I realized it's 5:39 our time and he's in the middle of special report.
He's on TV.
So he's doing his show, and so I backed off and I'm like, oh my goodness, we just interrupted him in the middle of a show. And he said, thank you, mid-show approval, by the way. So we're very excited about next week. This is with every sponsor, and especially new sponsors, you deal with, and at our level and our budget of a team, it is a roll of the dice. Obviously you want to be consistent week in, week out, and poor Brett's had some tough luck, I would say, initially with us, and then we finished. We also finished, but we really want to run well, and this is such a unique opportunity to do that. And we have Kyocera and Connectus Wireless this week. It was a great partnership. A lot of work has gone into this marketing opportunity with those guys, and everybody can Neil and Rick and John Scully and those guys that are over at Connectus. They've put in so much work, and you can read all about our partnership with them at Connectus.com. Connectus spelled with 1 N. And then we go into Kansas and we have a very unique opportunity to run the Ulysses S. Grant To Rescue the Republic car, and it's to bring a newsman into this sport was a great opportunity. It was really good. So we want to run. We really want to finish the season on a high note. We have 3 races left. We have Kansas next week, Martinsville the following week, and then we have Phoenix. And I think you'll see some very good things to come from us. And you guys are going to be in Kansas next week, so we look forward to doing this again 1 week from now.
Yes,
absolutely.
And hopefully with a great result. But yes, congrats to
I mean, what a finish today, David.
Absolutely.
20.
Awesome, man.
I mean, that's
Awesome.
it.
How about David, huh?
Yes. Come on. I want to put that. I mean, my goal is to put this man back in victory lane one more time, and I'm still not going to walk away after that. But because I know you won't. You'll go.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're not ready to start. Yeah, I mean, there's a career cutting your grass with scissors, but there's a career still in racing, and he's got so many years left in him, and he's got all the energy he's got. So,
Absolutely.
keep digging, and we're going to be there. We're all going to be there.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
We will see you guys next week in Kansas.
Yes, looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
David, any final thoughts before we go here?
Man, I just want to, man, there's a lot of great Paul Walters, Mary Walters, Joanne Powderall and her husband James, just Jack, Rita, just all the friends and family, my wife, and just, man, it's cool having everybody here, but I want to say thank you to my sponsors, Connectus, Kyocera, Whataburger. I mean, there's just on and on. There's so many of them, and just blessed to have everybody. And we love on all our sponsors. Thank you. And it was a great race weekend. I'm looking forward to Kansas next week. Just to be able to race an Xfinity race again next week. Having Brett Baer on my race car, what an honor that is. I mean, you got to pinch yourself, Brett Baer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Having Whataburger and Connectus and golly, man, it's just you can't. It's just hard to believe sometimes you got that this is all happening.
It's happening.
But man,
Yeah.
absolutely. But man, Dominic, you guys, man, y'all are
My name's Tyler.
Tyler. Man, our podcast, man, you guys do a great job week in and week out. And all the fans that watch us, thank you for watching us. And
Bring everybody in. Everybody come in behind the
come on,
shot.
absolutely.
As everybody's coming in, Dominic, your final thoughts as we get out of here.
No, what a fun race week. I'm looking forward to doing this again with you guys in Kansas. And I can't believe we're coming up on the 1 year of doing the show together. It doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, and also a big week for the Studio Soapbox Network. We launched this thing, with my show, The Jones Report, 10 years ago, and now this show's taken off. And this week we'll have our new show with Luke Slayball debuting Raw Tools, but we're offering a 5-day-a-week lineup now at Studio Soapbox, and you have David on board, Dominic, myself, Luke, Bo O'Connor. Check out all our shows. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, including this show right here. Leave us that 5-star review, or don't leave us one at all. And also check us out on YouTube and our social media channels: Facebook, David Starr Podcast, Twitter @Star Podcast, and by email, davidstarpodcast@gmail.com. So that's where you can find us. We're off to Kansas next week, my home track. So we go from your place to my house.
Awesome, man.
And we'll have a great time. So looking forward to it. Going to have a lot of familiar faces out there. We mentioned Brett Baer on the car, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we'll do this show again live after the race. Be looking forward on all your social media channels. We'll have some updates coming up next Sunday. How about this crowd, guys?
Let's go racing.
Let's go.
Speaking of that, maybe not. Let's before we put the checkered flag out on this episode, how about we get a Let's Go Racing chant on 3?
Y'all ready?
I like that.
You ready? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go racing!